Good morning. Today we are doing lesson 7.4, which is solving linear systems by elimination. Just like we did the other day, but this time we have to multiply first. Elimination, remember, we're either getting rid of our x's or the y's from the equations when we add them together or subtract them. So right away, if you look here, if we add these up, 5 plus 3 is not going to eliminate. 2 minus 4 is not going to eliminate. But we need to multiply one or both of the equations so that either the x's are the same number or the y's are the same number with one positive and one negative. Because if we add like a positive 5 and a negative 5, those will make 0 and eliminate. But if we have both positives, that's not going to eliminate. So we need to make sure that either the x and y's, or the x's are opposites, negative, positive, or the y's. There's nothing that I can multiply 3 by to get to 5, but I can multiply 2 by 2 to get to 4. But I can't just multiply the y's, I need to multiply the whole entire equation. This comes as a set. So I need to multiply this whole equation by 2 so that everything is multiplied by 2, making this middle term now instead of a 2 a 4. So we'll have a positive 4 and a negative 4. So I'm just going to rewrite it next door. 2 times 5, we're multiplying 2 times 5 is 10x. 2 times 2 is 4, so plus 4y. And 2 times 16, doubling 16, gives us 32. Then the other equation, I didn't do anything to, I'm just going to rewrite it. 3x minus 4y equal to 20. Now I can add these up because our y's are going to eliminate. Then we have 10x plus 3x gives us 13x. And adding these, that gives us a 2. 3 plus 2 is 5, so we have 52. And then solve this, we just need to divide by 13. If you don't know what that is, we can plug it in, if I can get my calculator to work. 52 divided by 13 should give us 4. So I know x is 4. Remember, I need an x and a y. So I know x is 4 with half of my equation done. Now we need to plug this back in. You can plug it back into either of the two originals or the one that you multiplied. If you use the one that you multiplied, that's fine. It's just bigger numbers than we had before. I'm going to use the bottom equation. If you want to use the top one, go ahead. We have 3 times x, which is 4, minus 4y equal to 20. 3 times 4 is 12. So I just rewrote the rest. And then we want y by itself, so I'm going to do the opposite of a positive 12, which is subtracting 12. So those will eliminate, and we have negative 4y equal to a positive 8. And then the opposite of multiplying by negative 4 is dividing by negative 4. So we know now that y is a negative 8 divided by 4, which is 2. Negative 2. So this is our answer. This is where our lines would cross if we were to graph them. Alright, on this next problem, we have x's and y's, neither of which are the same number. So we need to think, should I multiply this first equation or the second equation by a number in order for the x's or the y's to be the same number? Well, it doesn't matter which one you choose, as long as they end up the same number. There's nothing that I can multiply by 2 to get to 3, but I can multiply 5 by 2 to get to 10. However, they're both positive, so if I have them both 10y's, 10y plus 10y is going to give me 20y, and we don't want that. We want one of them to be a negative. So I'm just going to multiply this by a negative 2, so that this top 10 becomes a negative. So I'm going to rewrite that over here. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4x. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10y. And negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. The bottom equation we didn't do anything to. I'm just going to rewrite it. 3x plus 10y equal to negative 3. And now I can eliminate using addition. So negative 4 plus 3, there's more negatives, one more negative. The negative 10 and the positive 10 eliminate, make 0. And then we have negative 6 and a negative 3, same sign, add and keep, that's a negative 9. So then last, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. Divide by negative 1. So we have x equal to, now a positive 9. And we need to plug this back in because we only have x, which is 9. We need to also find y. This first equation looks like some smaller numbers, so I'm going to use that one. It says 2x and x is 9 plus 5y equal to 3. Well, 2 times 9 is 18. And then I want y by itself, so I'm going to get rid of this positive 18, do the opposite and subtract 18. So those eliminate. We have 5y equal to, now there's way more negatives. Different signs, we're just subtracting. 18 take away 3 is 15, so we have negative 15. And then the opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. So we have y equal to a negative 15 over 5, which is 3. So now I know y is a negative 3. So if we were to graph these two lines, they would cross at the point 9, negative 3. So somewhere way over here at 9, and then down 3. Alright, let's keep going on to the back side. Our lesson is not very long today. We just need to be very careful that we're multiplying by the correct numbers. So if we look here, we could get rid of our x's or our y's. Now if you think, what can we multiply 3 by to get 5? Well, 3 times nothing is going to give you 5. 4 times nothing is going to give you 6. So instead of multiplying just one equation, we're probably going to have to multiply both equations. Now you could multiply 3 and 5 to get 15, or you can multiply 4 and 6 to get 20. 3 and 5 are smaller numbers, so I'm going to maybe multiply by those. 3 times 5 is 15, so if we make both of the x's a 15, then we have a negative 15 and a positive 15. So if we already have a 3 on this top equation, 3 times 5 gives us 15 on the top, and then the bottom, 5 times 3. That also gives us 15. So we just picked the x's or the y's and multiplied by the opposite number. So now I'm going to multiply everything up here by 5, and then everything down here by 3. So let's take a minute and multiply that out. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15x. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20y. 5 times 27, ooh, that's going to be a big number. 5 times 27, 135. And then on the bottom, 3 times 5 is positive 15x. 3 times negative 6, well, 6 times 3 is 18, so negative 18y. And 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. Now we can add these up to eliminate our x's. Those are opposite numbers, so they eliminate. Our y's are all negative, same sign, add and keep, so we really have a negative 38y. And then 135 minus 21, we can just subtract. 5 minus 1 is 4, 3 minus 2 is 1, so we have 114. And then the opposite of multiplying is dividing by negative 38. So this is where you might want your calculator again. 114 divided by a negative 38 gives us a negative 3. So our solution, y, is a negative 3. We need to find x. So now remember, there are multiple equations you can plug this negative 3 back into. You can pick either one of the originals or either one of the ones that we multiplied. I'm going to pick this bottom one because it has the smallest numbers that I can see. It says 5x minus 6 times y, and y is a negative 3, equal to negative 7. So I'm going to simplify and multiply these two numbers. Negative 6 times negative 3 is a positive 18. And then we need to get rid of this plus or minus. I'm going to subtract 18. Those eliminate, and we have 5x equal to, these are all negative, so same sign, add and keep. 7 plus 8. 7 plus 8 is 15. And then 1 plus 1 is 2, so we have negative 25. And then divide by 5. X equals a negative 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So x is a negative 5. So our answer right here, negative 5, negative 3, is where these two lines would cross if we were to graph them. Alright, I believe this is our last question. Yep. We need to think, what can we multiply one or both of these equations by so we can eliminate? Remember, we're trying to get rid of either the x's or the y's. Now, both the x's are positive and both the y's are negative, so it doesn't really matter. The x's are both smaller numbers, 2 and 3 instead of 3 and 5. I can't multiply anything by 2 to get 3, can't multiply anything by 3 to get 5. So I'm going to multiply both of these, 2 and 3 multiplied to get 6. So I'm going to try and make both of these x's a 6. So 3 times 2 and 2 times 3. Now neither one is negative, so we need one of them to be negative, otherwise we're going to end up with 6x and 6x. I'm going to choose this positive one, top one to be a negative. So we're going to multiply everything by negative 2. So that gives us negative 6x. A negative times a negative makes a positive 10y. And then negative 2 times 16 is a positive 32. 16 and 16 is 32. On the bottom, multiply everything by 3. 2 times 3x is 6x. 3 times negative 3y is negative 9y. And 3 times negative 8, 8 times 3 is 24, and it's negative. So let's add these equations together. 6 plus negative 6 eliminates. 10 minus 9 is just 1y. And 32 minus 24, if you're not sure, count up from 24. From 24 to 30 is 6, plus 2 more is 8. If we divide by 1, that doesn't change our answer. Y is still 8. So there's 8. Let's plug that 8 back in to find x. Again, I'm going to use the bottom equation. So we have 2x minus 3 times y, which is 8, equal to a negative 8. So negative 3 times 8 is negative 24. 8 times 3 is 24. I would like you to solve the rest of this yourself to get an answer for x. Plug it in up here, and then show me or whoever's in the room your completed notes in order to get your homework. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, be careful. On your homework, I left you lots of space so you could multiply your equations and rewrite them to the side here. Like if you multiplied this equation by negative 3, you could multiply all those and write it out over here. There's 4 questions on the front and 4 on the back. So you have 8 questions for homework today.